Whenever I'm on Omegle and also in my comment section, people love pointing out how I look like Dream. And there's no way that this is a compliment. First of all, I don't push out my jawline as hard as he does. And second of all, he likes kids. So, that's not really someone I like to be compared to. Speaking of that though, on a recent video, someone commented this: "I'm not fond at the fact that you brought Omegle on TikTok and which brought kids on there, and the next thing you know, someone got groomed." So Omegle got shut down around 2 weeks ago now, and I put out a video kind of saying goodbye to Omegle because that's kind of what my channel has been about for the past 3 years. If you haven't watched that, I'll link it down below. This is not the first time I've seen a comment like this. I read all my comments on all my videos, and this is not unheard of. I've heard about this before, but the reason I wanted to bring up this comment today in this video is because of the recent Omegle shutdown and the lawsuits that's been against Omegle, and kind of as someone who has had, I think, a more substantial effect on Omegle than what my sub count says. Obviously, I'm more than thankful for all the subscribers I've gotten over the years, but this guy brings up a really good point. Yes, I have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, but I actually have 650,000. I peaked at 700,000 followers on TikTok, also mainly because of my Omegle videos. So this guy goes on to say, but anyways, Omegle lost the lawsuit and I have insider information that I can't legally disclose at this time. Okay, we'll get to the first part in a second, but the second part about the lawsuit and having insider information, this is the internet, so I don't believe anything that anyone says. And someone replied to this guy saying, "What is it? I got very curious." And the guy responded, "The only hint I can give is another guy filed a lawsuit a few days before the unannounced shutdown took place." That's not insider information. That's public information. You know how many lawsuits have been going against Omegle for years now? They say that on Omegle. The literal owner of Omegle has talked about fighting lawsuits for years now. This is not a new thing. So I'm kind of just going to brush off you actually having insider information. And honestly, that's not even relevant. So I don't even know why I'm talking about it. But let's talk about this first segment where he says, "I'm not fond of the fact that you brought basically kids onto Omegle because I made a lot of TikTok videos, which kind of propelled me to start making YouTube videos, which got me here today, which got you here today watching me talk about Omegle." The first thing I want to say is when I was making Omegle TikToks, I was a kid too. So I don't know. Maybe that makes it even worse. Maybe that means that I was, not leading by example because I was a kid. And even though there's tons of video evidence of me continually saying, "Hey, I don't recommend you going on this website," maybe it was bad because I wasn't leading by example, But that's really stretching it in my opinion. I don't think that's a fair conclusion. I'm just playing devil's advocate. So number one, I started going on Omegle when I was a kid, which is not a good thing. And I've said that a billion times. Second thing is I stated in videos over and over again that I don't recommend anyone, honestly, not just kids. I don't recommend anyone going on Omegle because that's kind of the point of my videos. People love Omegle because of the random interactions with strangers. That's why we all love Omegle. And what I did as a content creator was cut out all the bad stuff from it and just create a funny moments compilation. You know what I mean? So people didn't have to go on Omegle. They could just enjoy it. They're not the ones that need to look at the naked dudes. That's me. I have to do that. And then I just cut it out, and then you guys just have a good 10 minutes of pure entertainment. That's the whole point. And in this goodbye Omegle video that he commented on, I said something about this. So this isn't the first time I've been accused of this sort of thing. This is something that I myself have been aware of, making sure that I do the best I can when it comes to telling kids to get off Omegle, telling people in videos, "Hey, do not go on Omegle, just let me go on Omegle and make these videos for you guys." And I have to kind of tread carefully around this topic because some people have been very angry about this in the past. I don't know if you guys remember this from school, but there's something called the transit property. And the transit property is if X equals 1 and 1 equals Y, then X equals Y. You know what I mean? It's kind of just a logical thing that people do every single day, but there's a name for it. It's called the transit property. And basically what he's saying here is I brought Omegle content to TikTok. TikTok has kids, and kids go on Omegle, and they unfortunately get groomed. And then if you reverse it using the transit property, they're basically saying that these lawsuits and these grooming situations happened because of me. And that's a really tricky thing to like kind of disprove. You know, there's no way for me to prove, oh yeah, that was because of me, that wasn't because of me. And I also would be lying to myself if I said, you know, I didn't play a part in some way in this whole Omegle community. I mean, come on, like if I combine my TikTok and my YouTube videos, I have over 100 million views of Omegle videos made by me. And of course, it's different now that I'm legally an adult and I've made money doing these things, you know, which you know, adds to it where it's like, oh, this guy's making money promoting this thing. And now that it got shut down, it's been brought to the light how many lawsuits and how much crime has happened on this website that this guy is making money from by showing it to kids. So first of all, if you actually look at my analytics, only 5% of my viewers are under the age of 18. Oh, but Judah, you know that everyone fakes that stuff, right? Everyone just lies about their age. Yes, that is true. I'm aware that I did the same thing. But they are obviously breaking the terms of service. And if they're willing to break the terms of service of YouTube, you know that they're gonna go on Omegle whether there's that age, you know, please verify your age thing or not. You know, people are gonna go on Omegle. Underage kids are gonna go on Omegle. You know what this feels like? This almost feels like the same thing as the gambling YouTubers or the gambling streamers, where it's like, you know, you're promoting this thing that, you know, it can be life-changing. You know, when people gamble, they, you know, they can lose everything. You know, a lot of people that aren't responsible with their money and might not even have that much money in the first place. So people will be on streaming sites and they'll see content creators making lots and lots of money gambling while recording a video or live streaming, and then they'll do the same thing with their much more limited funds, and the gambling sites aren't rigged for them, right? And then they end up losing all the money. And so that's kind of that whole controversy. You can take the same principle and put it on Omegle. Omegle, you are gambling. You are gambling on who you're gonna get. You are gambling on what they're going to do, what they're going to say. You're gambling. You're gambling your time. You're gambling the people that you're going to talk to. You know, when you do next person and it searches for the next person, you're gambling. You don't know who you're going to get. And so what really matters is if you don't know what you're going to get, you need to know when to stop and you need to know when to go to the next game or to the next person. Luckily, Omegle doesn't cost money, but it does cost your mental health at certain points, as you can see from the lawsuits. So this is where opinions come in, right? For the people that think that gambling shouldn't be on certain, you know, social media platforms like YouTube or Twitch or any of that, right? What they're saying is, hey, we don't want these behaviors promoted on these sites that have maybe, you know, underage kids or people that aren't as wealthy, or just in general the gambling addiction. They don't want to promote that, right? So that's their opinion. And then the other side of the whole debate is people can watch it and take enjoyment by watching it, so they don't have to do it themselves. So it's honestly, my response to this guy is like, how do you feel about gambling and gambling content? Because that's kind of how I view it. I also talk in my videos about all the really fucked up shit I've seen on Omegle, right? That I obviously don't put in videos. I'm taking the toll, aka if we're using the analogy of gambling, I'm taking the losses to then give highlights of me winning every once in a while, which could be a funny moment, could be me rizzing up girls on Omegle, it could be whatever, right? So I take a lot of losses, but then when I do win, it's content for you guys. I just think it's unfair to me to be accused of these types of things. Like, maybe I could have put some more disclaimers in my TikToks, but even in my TikToks, I whenever there was something weird, I would blur it and I'd make it into a clip, right? So if I saw some weird old dude, I'd blur him and then I'd be like, dude, get off of here, whatever. And then right after, I'd be like, this is why I don't recommend you guys going on Omegle. Like, this is like, that was like a regular comedy routine that I would do in my videos. On the YouTube side of things, the first wall would be that, number one, I always mark my videos as not for kids, and kids are considered 12 and under on YouTube. Coincidentally, on Omegle, you can only legally go on Omegle at 13 if you have parental permission, and then 18 if you just want to go on just you and you don't need to ask your parents for permission. So that's, you know, the first thing that I did. Second thing I did is if I ever saw a young person on Omegle, I would tell them directly, hey, you shouldn't be on here. which not only am I helping that person who's already fallen for the trap of going on Omegle at a young age, but also I'm putting it in the video so anyone else that's like, oh hey, that little kid's like my age, and Judah's telling him not to go on here. You know, they can connect the dots. They're not dumb. Again, this isn't the first time I've seen this type of comment, this type of accusation. But yeah, I wanted to make this video about it. I hope you guys enjoyed. The link to my ranting channel, I just dropped a playlist of videos, so make sure you go check that out. Link down below. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a like. I see all you guys who drop likes on my videos, and it does mean a lot. So thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys in the next one.